presented by the Strong Blue Line Foundation and powered by Moose Ridge Coffee in Snake River Landing, Idaho Falls. Welcome to the podcast, where former San Antonio police officer, author, and pastor Tim Rupp walks you through real-life scenarios involving our police officers and digs into the depths of facts and opinions on each case. This is Cop Talk, and it starts now.
Hello and welcome to the Strong Blue Line's Cop Talk. I'm Tim Rupp in the Rev.fm studio with that laughing voice in the background. There it is again, Gary Austin. Hey Gary, how you doing, man?
Hey Tim, doing well.
We are rolling right through, man. Halfway through August, can you believe it? Next month is fall.
I know.
You know, it's not till the 21st or 22nd of next month, but it's fall. You know, and, I didn't mention this last time. Maybe it was a little bit too close or whatever, but, you know, Gary, my mom passed away.
Yeah.
At the end of last month, just a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and missing mom, you know, my dad passed away last year.
Right.
And so my mom passed away, and we'll be in San Antonio burying her soon. And so just thank you for your support, Gary.
Well, and Tim, I love you, buddy. I just do. And just, I'm sorry. Those things happen. They do.
Yeah, they do. You know, I've been blessed, man. She was 93 years old, lived a long life. Blessed. Yeah, I've been so blessed. I cannot complain. My older brother, a couple years older, my younger brother, were here. We all three of us saw our mom and dad to their old age. Mm-hmm. You know, so we're very blessed and godly people. Mom is she had 10. There were 10 siblings in the family.
Wow.
And so 8. And
I forgot about that.
My mom is the 9th to go, and now there's the youngest one, her younger sister, who she had to raise.
Oh, be darned.
Because my mom's mom died when she was 35 years old.
My goodness.
So she had to raise her younger sister.
Huh.
So, but anyways, just want to thank you for that, and you know we'll be traveling, and so we're going to record a couple of these shows in advance, but. Thanks so much for that, and a lot of people, you know, that we just had a lot of well wishes.
Good.
So just thank you so much for that.
That's
enjoying
good,
that.
Tim.
We have such a great community here in Idaho Falls and at Water Springs and everything. So, and so anyway, so we got some interesting things to talk about today. Speaking of San Antonio, we're going to talk about a San Antonio officer who was shot. But before we do that, we're going to do our Officer Down Memorial page. So I've got Lieutenant Arthur Galliard, I guess how you pronounce his name, Officer Galliard, from Charleston Police Department, South Carolina. End of watch Friday, August 14th, 1857. Quite a while ago. I'm getting some so bold ones.
Yeah.
You know, 1857.
Really old.
On August 13th, which is the day, August 13th, the day before, on Thursday, August 13th, Lieutenant Galliard was on duty when he leaned out of a window of a house. His pistol slipped from his coat and discharged when it struck the windowsill. The bullet struck Lieutenant Galliard in the abdomen, causing a fatal wound.
Huh.
The lieutenant was survived by his father, 3 siblings, and 2 half-siblings. No other information is available. This, 1857, so it was probably a revolver, and because of what happened right here, in the Old West days, you're going to realize that cowboys and stuff and the Old West lawmen and stuff, they did not keep the cylinder under the hammer loaded.
Oh.
You had a 6-shooter, but you only loaded up with 5. Because what had happened, Gary, is you know when you pull back the hammer on a revolver, the front of the hammer, it goes for, you pull the trigger and it goes forward, and the force of the spring that causes it to go forward, it punches the primer in the back of the cartridge.
Oh.
And that would cause it. And the thing is that the hammer actually rests on that. So if you drop it and it hits the hammer,
then it's going to fire.
It causes it to discharge.
Huh.
So that's why when it became popular not to carry one. Now, on the new revolvers nowadays, they have a safety in there where it does not rest on it. So if you have a modern day a revolver, you can carry one under the hammer. But Kind of unusual.
That is.
It's so, I've heard about that, going off, but I didn't realize somebody's actually, here's a policeman who was killed.
Right.
Gun dropped, and I mean, how many policemen have dropped their gun before? If it's a tool. That's like saying how many carpenters have dropped their hammer.
Right.
You're going to do it sometime.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. I've dropped my gun before, and the guns that they're good quality combat firearms, and they do not discharge like that. So it's important to have a good quality gun. So
wow.
Anyway,
that's a good one.
What do you have there, Gary?
This is Patrolman James M. Sides, Alamo Gordo Police Department out of New Mexico. End of watch, August 14th, 2023. So on April 3rd, Patrolman Sides and 2 other officers responded to a trespassing call, and when officers arrived, the subject exited the home and fired at the officers. Patrolman Sides was struck in the head, and he also broke his leg while he fell, and another officer sustained 2 bullet wounds to his cheek. The subject fled the house and barricaded himself in the backyard of another residence, and when he fired at responding officers, they returned fire, killing the subject. The subject was a parolee who had been convicted of aggravated battery of a police officer.
Shocker.
Patrolman Sides was transported to the hospital where he underwent a 7-hour surgery to remove a bullet from his temple. Due to his injuries, he retired in October 1984. His death on August 14th, 2023 was attributed to the brain injury he received when he was shot. That is interesting.
Yeah, so this actually took place in 1984. In April of 84. And he retired in October of that year. So he stayed around for 6 months, probably surgery and all that stuff. And then he died several years later.
Oh, be darned. Yeah, I actually didn't, when I said on April 3rd, I didn't even read the date
because
on it, but it was
last
84.
Year. Yeah, it was 1984. What caught my eye on that, when I looked it up, they have pictures of the officers. Most of the time they have pictures of the officers, especially the later ones. And it said, date of death, 2023. And I looked at the picture. I said, that looks like an older picture. I said, okay. And then I said, okay, that makes sense. Because the picture of him was back from the 80s.
Wow.
Anyways.
A 7-hour surgery, from his temple. That's
thank the Lord. At least he had several years to live.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to retire, so I don't know what his
what his life was
quality
like.
of living was like, but he was alive for that time. So.
Yep, and he was 68 when he passed away. So,
wow, So 83. So that's 84. I was on the police department a year. I was a rookie officer.
Wow,
back then. When he was shot.
Oh,
okay. And I forgot to mention this last time, but you can get formerly aired shows.
There you go.
Of Cop Talk on Amazon, YouTube, Apple, and Spotify podcasts. And you know why Gary's laughing? You've listened to the show a few times.
Yeah.
If you don't know, you don't know. Okay, it says here, SAPD confirms gunman who allegedly shot officer was in U.S. illegally from Venezuela. So this is out of the San Antonio KSAT News, and this is News 4 San Antonio, and this is from Monday, July 29th, so just a couple weeks ago, Gary. The San Antonio police officer injured in an early morning shooting on Sunday remains in the hospital and is expected to recover. Thank the Lord for that.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, outrage has erupted about the alleged shooter who was in the country illegally after being released by Border Patrol.
Wow.
San Antonio Police Chief William McManus confirmed Monday the alleged shooter was in the U.S. illegally after immigrating from Venezuela. The chief said that he is frustrated by the circumstances that allowed this to happen. Law enforcement records obtained by News 4 I-Team show 25-year-old Jorge Chacon-Gutierrez was apprehended in Eagle Pass by Customs and Border Protection in November of last year.
My goodness.
However, he was released with a notice to appear in court in 2026.
What?
Gary, come back in 3 years for your hearing.
Oh, they're so backlogged.
Go into the United States and come back in he's from Venezuela. Venezuela are letting their criminals go so they'll come here because they don't want them.
Right. Yep.
Early Sunday morning, he allegedly opened fire on officers with a rifle at an apartment on Patricia Drive when they responded to a report that he had assaulted someone. One officer was shot multiple times, and SWAT later found Gutierrez deceased, but it's unclear if he took his own life or was killed by police. A spokesman for the Border Patrol, let me back up that. Some people say, well, how did they not know? I'm thinking that they bust into the room, flashbangs and stuff, and he was there with a gun, and they opened up on him, and they didn't know if he shot himself or if they whatever. But
right.
I'm sure he had more than one bullet wound in him. That's why they couldn't determine. But it's going to come out. They're going to figure it out. A spokesman for the Border Patrol for the Border Patrol Union said last November Eagle Pass was overwhelmed with immigrants trying to cross the border. The agents were told to release people seeking asylum after a background check. Congressman Chip Roy is one of those voicing outrage over the shooting. Border Patrol's hands are tied. They get someone that comes across the border and they say, okay, we're going to release them into the United States under parole. And they do a background check. And they may or may not get good information on it, Roy said. Earlier this year, former Homeland Security agent Ari Jimenez told us it is especially difficult to get information on people coming from Venezuela. Think about it, Gary. Think about it, Gary. Some guy comes from Venezuela, so you're going to contact Venezuela. Hey, we got Gutierrez here. Is he good? Yeah, he's good to go.
He's good.
Thank you. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And he says this, Jimenez says this, we don't have a relationship with Venezuela, so there's no means to corroborate any criminal history with anyone coming from Venezuela. In a scathing report last month, the Office of Inspector General criticized Immigration and Customs Enforcement's screening process. It found last year ICE failed to conduct risk management assessment on almost 80,000 detained non-citizens, which was 33% of non-citizen detainees. It also determined more than 11,000 non-citizens were released after a risk assessment recommendation detention. And this Congressman Roy said this: that doesn't mean that every person that comes here is bad, but it does mean that there are thousands of known criminals, thousands of people associated with known terrorist organizations who have been released, are being released, and will be released onto our streets. And guess what? It's SAPD, it's DPS, which is the Department of Public Safety, the Highway Patrol. It's Texans left holding the bag, Roy said. We want to ask Homeland Security about Gutierrez, but they told us that they were waiting for a medical examiner to confirm his identity before releasing any information. I guess the police are pretty sure who he is. But anyways, and I got this other thing here. This comes from KSAT 12. That was from News 4. This comes from KSAT 12. A San Antonio police officer who was wounded in the line of duty early Sunday morning faces a long road recovery, according to statement released by SAPD. The email stated from SAPD's Public Information Office Monday morning that the officer is still in a hospital receiving additional medical treatment. It also included some words of thanks on behalf of the police department for kind words and prayers from the community.
Wow.
So that's just, and I like what Chip Roy said there, Congressman Roy, that not everybody that comes across is bad people. In fact, I would say most are not, Gary. I say most of the people aren't bad. They want to come here. I said, I don't blame them. I would want to come here too if I was one of them countries.
Yep.
But there's a process. There's a legal process of how to get here. And if we're going to be a nation of laws, we need to follow the law.
That's exactly right.
And let them in and vet them and let it, because, the immigrants. Think of President Trump's wife, immigrated from a different country.
Right.
His running mate, J.D. Vance, his wife came from immigrants of another country. There are, all of us, unless you're, I guess, a Native American heritage, we're all immigrants somewhere down the line.
Exactly.
We came over somewhere.
Yep.
I was listening to President Reagan the other day. There was a speech he was quoting, and he was going on, and he said this, Gary. He said, and I'm not sure if he was quoting somebody or not, but he said this. He said, "You can go to France and become a citizen of France. That doesn't make you a Frenchman. You can go to Germany, become a citizen of Germany, but that doesn't make you a German. And you can go to Japan and become a citizen of Japan. That doesn't make you Japanese. But you come to America and become a citizen of America. That makes you an American."
Mm-hmm.
I thought that is good.
That is really good.
Because we're not about ethnicity or whatever. We're just, you know what? You want to be an American? We'll accept you.
Right. But do it the right way.
Yeah, do it the right way.
Do it the right way.
And so, and well, it's not fair we were born here. Thank the Lord that we were born here.
Yes.
I really,
every day.
We're, my heart goes out to people who are born in impoverished countries.
I agree.
It's really, and so, but we got to protect our people.
We do.
And anyways, we got another. Speaking of other countries, this caught my eye. Taylor Swift. Now
What?
You say, what in the world? Tim's going to talk about Taylor
Are you a
Swift
Swiftie?
on Cop Talk? No, I'm not Swiftie. And like I said, Taylor's not Swift.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. I don't know who she is. I know she's a singer or something, pop singer, I believe. Anyways, this is a sad story. This is a terrible story. Taylor Swift, this comes from USA Today, July 29th. Taylor Swift says that she is at a complete loss after a mass stabbing at a Swift-themed class in the UK that left children dead.
Wow.
A 9-year-old girl died in the hospital in the early hours of Tuesday morning, Merseyside police said in a news release. The two children who died Monday were 6 and 7 years old. So you have a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 9-year-old that were stabbed to death.
Mm-hmm.
The stabbing, which left 10 other people injured. There's still others in critical condition. So,
Wow.
took
With the
place
knife.
in Southport, UK on Monday, which was July 29th. This is when it happened.
Okay.
The horror of yesterday's attack is washing over me continuously, and I'm just completely in shock, Swift wrote on her Instagram story early Tuesday. The loss of life and innocent and the horrendous trauma inflicted on everyone who was there, the families, the first responders, Swift continued. These were just little kids at a dance class. I am at a complete loss of how ever to convey my sympathies to these families. And she's devastated by this. I would be too,
Yeah, I would too.
I don't care whether you like her music or not. I couldn't say, but little kids dancing to her music. It was her theme. They themed her, and some guy comes in and stabs 13 people, killing 3 children. Of the 10 injured, 8 are children and 2 adults.
Wow.
Both of whom are in critical condition. So it's the adults who are in critical condition. 5 of the injured children are in critical condition. 5 of them are. Tuesday's police statement said, all of those injured have suffered stab wounds and sustained during the attack. 2 adults are also in critical condition after being injured during the incident. Merseyside Police Chief Constable Serena Kennedy said Monday in a statement shared with the USA Today. Here you go, Garrett. A 17-year-old male was arrested on suspicion of murder and attempted murder, Kennedy said, noting that he will be interviewed by detectives. The suspect is from the nearby coastal village of Banks and originally from Cardiff in Wales.
My goodness.
So he's from the UK in that area.
17.
17 years old. Police warned of misinformation regarding the arrest. A name has been shared on social media in connection with the suspect in the incident in Southport. The name is incorrect, and we would urge people not to speculate on the details of the incident while the investigation is ongoing. And this is so critical, Gary. A lot of people get their information from Facebook and stuff.
Right.
I'll have my daughter call me. She'll say, hey, did you hear about this, Dad? This on Facebook. And if I see it on Facebook, I'll go do some research immediately.
Right.
I'll go and look and see. And a lot of time, it's accurate. It's pretty accurate. But sometimes it's just somebody just making up
exactly.
something. So be careful of what you're quoting and doing things. Always verify. Police were called to reports of the stabbing at 11:47 a.m. at an address on the seaside town in Southport, Merseyside. So this is at noon.
Yeah.
You know? When they arrived, they were shocked to find that multiple people, many of whom were children, had been subjected to a furious attack and had suffered serious injuries. Merseyside Police Chief Constable Serena Kennedy said Monday in a statement shared with USA Today. It is understood that the children were attending a Taylor Swift event at a dance school when the offender, who was armed with a knife, walked into the premises and started to attack those inside. The statement continued. We believe that the adults who were injured were trying to protect the children at the time they were attacked. Well, God bless the adults. They did the right thing.
Exactly.
I mean, you've got to do that. You've got to step in between.
Yes.
And so he may have killed all the children if he wouldn't have stopped.
Yep.
The international leg of Swiss Air's tour will arrive in Poland on Thursday, with the singer's return to UK currently set for next month. And King Charles and Prince Williams and Princess Kate comment, I guess. British royals are reacting to the mass shooting in Southport, UK, with King Charles III calling the incident utterly horrific. So this is getting the king's attention.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a pretty significant thing.
It is.
He says this: my wife and I have been profoundly shocked to hear of the utterly horrific incident in Southport today, the king said in his statement shared Monday on the royal family's X account. We send our most heartfelt condolences, prayers, and deepest sympathies to the families and loved ones of those who have been so tragically lost their lives, and to all those affected by this truly appalling attack. Prince William and Princess Kate also shared their condolences to the victims' families in an Instagram post on Monday. As parents, we cannot begin to imagine what the families, friends, and loved ones of those killed and injured in Southport today are going through, the couple said in a joint statement. We send our love, thoughts, and prayers to all those involved in this horrid and horrendous attack. Swift fans appear to be banding together to support the victims, which is good. There's a fundraiser on Just Giving on Monday, and they've already raised nearly $100,000 for the family. Since that's terrible. You got to raise money to bury your children.
Yeah.
But the thing that really struck me about this is, here again we have horrific violence.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a gun; it was a knife.
Right.
It's not the instrument; it's the heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's the person. Somebody's So we're gonna ban knives now?
Yeah, exactly.
That's not the answer.
No.
Even President Trump, after he was shot last month, he didn't come out and say ban guns. He's still it's not the gun that did the shooting. There was somebody that pulled that trigger.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue. So that's what needs to be addressed.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyways, I hate to end this on a sad note, but that's a sad note.
It is.
Just keep
the
world, man.
Yep.
So the world's going crazy.
Exactly.
So the world needs Jesus.
Yep.
We need the gospel.
Yes.
And anyways, hey, thanks for listening in. If you have a topic or question you want to address on Cop Talk, send me an email. You can email suggestions, questions, comments, or complaints to coptalk@therev.fm. Coptalk@therev.fm. Thought from the good book today: whoever heeds instruction is on the path to life, but he who rejects reproof leads others astray. Thank you for joining us and help to make the thin blue line a strong blue line.
Cop Talk is presented by the Strong Blue Line Foundation and sponsored by Moose Ridge Coffee in Snake River Landing, Idaho Falls. Questions and comments are always welcome by email to coptalk@therev.fm. Listen, follow, leave a review, and share this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or YouTube. And visit thestrongblueline.org to learn how you can be a supporter. Cop Talk is a Rev FM production, produced and edited by Gary Austin. Thank you for joining us on Cop Talk.